Hello and welcome to this week's football review where we talk about football and nothing but football. And here this week we have several Premier League games, Serie A, Bundesliga, and a La Liga game. So let's analyze them together. Full-time score at the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Everton. Arsenal 2, Everton 0. In which Max Dowman makes Premier League history in a dramatic victory. Arsenal took a huge step towards winning the Premier League title as after Max Dowman inspired a late victory over Everton at the Emirates. Max Dowman became the youngest goal scorer in the Premier League history as he inspired display from the bench propelled Arsenal to a potentially pivotal 2-0 win over Everton. The 16-year-old came off the bench and played a crucial role in Viktor Gyökeres's 89th minute goal before scoring in the final kick of the game to seal victory at the Emirates Stadium. Everton were without James Tarkowski and Gerard Branthwaite in defence, but went agonizingly close on several occasions, with Dwight McNeil forcing a remarkable block out of Riccardo Calafiori before hitting the post. David Raya was then called into action early in the second half as his stretched leg managed to keep out Beto's shots after the Gunners failed to clear a corner. At the other end, Eberechi Eze curled just wide of the post as Arsenal piled on the pressure, which eventually told in the dying minutes. Pickford failed to punch a cross from Dowman, which Piero Hincapié deflected into the path of Gyökeres for a simple tap-in. Everton goalkeeper then went up for a corner in the hopes of scoring an equalizer, but Arsenal got out and Dowman skipped past two challenges before scoring into an empty net. At 16 years and 73 days, Dowman has become the youngest scorer in the Premier League history. Dowman's goal means that there's now been Premier League goal scorer born in every year of the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. After his introduction in the 74th minute, Dowman created two chances, attempted the most dribbles in the match, completed 12 of his 13 passes, and won 4 of his 8 duels. The expected goals tally perhaps does not tell the story of the match, with Arsenal 2 close-range strikes inflating their total to 2.59 from 25 attempts compared to Everton's 1.05 from 9 shots. Which concludes the Premier League fixture between Arsenal, top of the Premier League, versus Everton, Arsenal 2, Everton 0. Full-time score at the London Stadium in the Premier League between West Ham United and Manchester City. West Ham 1, Manchester City 1, as Mavropanos deals Guardiola's side title race blow. Man City lost further ground on Arsenal after a second straight draw, with West Ham boosting their survival hopes at the other end. Manchester City's Premier League title hopes took a hit as West Ham came from behind to earn a 1-1 draw at the London Stadium to move out of the relegation zone. After Arsenal's dramatic win over Everton earlier on Saturday, City could not get a win they needed to reduce the gap at the top of the table back to 7 points. City had started on top without posing too much threat to West Ham's goal, until Bernardo Silva looked set to stand up a cross in the 31st minute, only for the ball to loop over Mads Hermansen instead. However, the hosts were back on level terms 4 minutes later as Gianluigi Donnarumma misjudged the flight of Jarrod Bowen's corner and Konstantinos Mavropanos thumped the header of the underside of the crossbar behind him. City continued to push with Antoine Semenyo drilling wide before Erling Haaland's low snapshot was pushed wide of the post by Hermansen. West Ham's goalkeeper also made a stunning fingertip to save to push Tijani Reinders' tight-angled free kick onto the bar as City continued to push. The visitors' best chance came in the dying seconds though, as the unmarked Marc Guehi placed the golden opportunity over the bar after a scramble in the box. It is a result that leaves City 9 points behind Arsenal with 8 games to play, while West Ham leapfrogged Nottingham Forest into 17th, sitting outside the drop zone for the first time since December. City will end the day 9 points behind top spot just for the first time this season. The only team to win the Premier League title with such a gap to the leaders at the end of match day, having played 30 or more games, is City themselves in 2013-14 season, which is 9 points behind top on April 20 after 33 games. West Ham's equalizer was the 13th such goal City have conceded in the Premier League this season, the most ever in the campaign. And Nuno Espirito Santo will be thrilled with the fight his side showed. Given the pressure they are under, the Hammers had just one shot, their joint fewest in the Premier League game on Opta's record, but they made it count. Which signals the full-time whistle. West Ham won, Man City won at the London Stadium. Full-time score at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Newcastle United. Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1, as Gordon puts a dent in Chelsea's Champions League hopes. Chelsea failed to win at home for the third straight Premier League game as Anthony Gordon earned Newcastle 1-0 victory in London. England international Gordon faced some criticism after illness meant that he started Newcastle's Champions League draw with Barcelona on Tuesday on the bench, and he issued an emphatic response. Gordon put Newcastle ahead in the 18th minute, slotting home after Tino Livramento made it look all too easy to cut through Chelsea's defense, sliding a pass into the path of Joe Willock. Newcastle felt they should have had a penalty when Malik Thiaw went down under pressure from Reece James, who signed a new contract with Chelsea on Friday at the corner. Liam Rossinier replaced Malo Gusto with Liam Delap at halftime as he looked to help his team force his way back into the game. Cole Palmer had an appeal for a penalty after being caught by Nick Woltemade turned down, while Marco Correa claimed that Sven Botman handled his cross was ignored. Delap skied a glorious chance with 15 minutes remaining and then steered a header narrowly wide, but it was James who went closest to finding an equalizer. The Chelsea captain saw his brilliant 25-yard free kick hit the foot of the post and go behind, leaving Chelsea in danger of dropping to 6th in the table if results go against them on Sunday. Having let Leeds slip up in the home draws against Leeds United and Burnley, Chelsea never looked like they're getting back on track against the Magpies. The 22 shots had a cumulative expected goals of just 1.43, with only 3 of them hitting the target. The Blues are now failed to win 3 consecutive league matches at Stamford Bridge for the first time since 2023, putting them in danger of falling off the pace in the race for Champions League qualification. Gordon, meanwhile, has been directly involved in 6 Premier League goals against Chelsea, which is 3 goals and 3 assists. Against no other side has he had more goals and assists in the competition. Also 6 versus Tottenham Hotspur. Full-time score once again, Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1. Anthony Gordon, the goal scorer. Full-time score in the Santiago Bernabeu La Liga fixture between Real Madrid and Elche. Real Madrid 4, Elche 1. Real Madrid cruised past Elche with a commanding 4-1 win at Santiago Bernabeu, and it took the hosts a little while to find their rhythm in the first half. But once they did, they made it count. Rudiger opened the scoring with a fine finish from Valverde's free kick, before Valverde turned the scorer himself with a stunning strike into the top right corner. With a comfortable buffer, Madrid rang the changes, but even with a useful side on the pitch, the level never dipped. Huijsen added the decisive third with a composed header, and although Elche pulled one back later on, Angel inadvertently turned Diangana's cutback into his own net. The 3-goal cushion was restored in spectacular fashion. Arda Güler produced an outrageous goal from inside his own half, a genuine goal of the season contender that left Dituro stranded. Elche should have had the second right at the death, but Courtois produced a superb save to deny Silva from point-blank range. Despite generating only 1.25 xG, Los Blancos scored 4 and never needed to get out of the second gear. Elche, meanwhile, mustered just 0.80 xG and never recovered from Madrid's quick-fire first-half double. Alvaro Albero's side closed the gap to Barcelona at the top with just 1 point, and they'll now turn their attention to securing a Champions League quarter-final place away at Manchester City. Elche remain just 1 spot above the drop zone and urgently need to find positive results, starting with their home clash against Mallorca next week. That concludes the full-time whistle in the La Liga. In Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid cruised their way past Elche 4-1, the full-time score. Full-time score at the Bayer Arena in the Bundesliga between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. Bayer Leverkusen won, Bayern Munich won, as Jackson and Diaz see red as leaders hold on for a draw. Nicolas Jackson and Luis Diaz were sent off, but Bayern Munich was able to cling on to a point against Leverkusen. Jackson handed a red start in place of Harry Kane, received a straight red card before halftime after cancelling out Alex Garcia's early opener. Diaz was shown a second yellow card for simulation in the 84th minute. Jonas Hoffmann then had a stoppage time winner for Leverkusen ruled out for a marginal offside decision, with Bayern's lead at the Bundesliga summit cut to 9 points following Borussia Dortmund's win over Augsburg. Leverkusen raced into an early lead when Montrell Kulebrecht dispossessed Luis Diaz and launched a swift break that ended with Garcia's powerful effort beating Sven Ulreich with the help of deflection of Jonathan Tah. Bayern dominated possession and saw a goal by Tah ruled out for a handball following a VAR review midway through the half, and their hopes of getting back into the game took another blow when Jackson was giving his marching orders for a high tackle on Martin Terrier. Malik Tillman and Patrick Schick missed glorious one-on-one opportunities before the hour mark, and they were let off the hook when Kane, who had only been on the pitch for 2 minutes, had a goal chalked off for a handball in the build-up. Diaz drew Vincent Kompany's side level when he slaughtered Michael Olise's pass beyond Yanis Blažević, but he was shown 2 yellow cards in the space of 10 minutes to leave his team up against it in the closing stages. The Bayer Arena erupted when Hoffmann's deflected shot looped into the far corner, but it was disallowed for offside following a review. Ibrahim Mata were close to finding a winner in the 96 minutes, only for Ulreich to gather his shots before the Algerian got there to tap home a follow-up. Leverkusen failed to make the most in the numerical advantage, with Bayern now have salvaged 19 points from losing positions in the Bundesliga this season, more than any other team. The hosts' expected goals surged to 2.59 following Diaz's dismissal, and they will rue their inability to get better of Ulreich, who had to make 5 saves in a top-flight match for the first time since 2024. Full-time score at the Bayer Arena in the Bundesliga match between Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. Leverkusen won, Munich won. 2 red cards in a single game. Full-time score in the Serie A between Inter Milan and Atalanta in San Siro, Giuseppe Meazza. Inter Milan won, Atalanta won, as controversial Kristovic equalizer hands host heavy blow in Serie A title race. Inter Serie A title push suffered a setback as they were held to a draw by Atalanta following last weekend's derby defeat to AC Milan. Nikola Kristovic came off the bench to score in a contentious late equalizer and earned Atalanta a 1-1 draw with Inter at San Siro, leaving the hosts winless in their last 3 matches across competitions. Inter's title hopes had already taken a blow last weekend with a 1-0 defeat to rivals AC Milan in the Derby della Madonnina, and Christian Kivu's side failed to respond convincingly on Saturday. Pio Esposito broke the deadlock after 26 minutes, finishing powerfully from the tight angle off the left after Gianluca Scamacca had earlier forced a nervy save from Jan Sommer. Marcus Thuram should have doubled Inter's lead just past the hour mark when Henrik Mkhitaryan sent him through on goal, but Marco Carnesecchi produced a superb save to deny the Frenchman. Though the result seemed safe, Atalanta preserved and enjoyed a fruitful final 20 minutes as Kalmadine Suleimana fired off targets moment before Christoph struck. Suleimana sparked a swift counter-attack into Inter's final third, pushing Denzel Dumfries down in the process. And though his initial effort was saved by Sommer, Kristovic was on hand to tuck away the rebound. Inter were left furious, but leaving Dumfries had been found in the build-up. As lengthy VAR review ended with a goal awarded to Atalanta. The result leaves the Nerazzurri 8 points clear of Milan, who faces Lazio on Sunday, while Atalanta sits 7th. Full-time score once again, in just San Siro Giuseppe Meazza, Inter Milan held by Atalanta 1-1. On the other scores in the European fixtures, in the Premier League, Sunderland 0, Brighton 1, and Burnley 0, Bournemouth 0. And over to Spain La Liga, Girona won 3-0 at home against Athletic Bilbao. Atletico Madrid scored by Molina a wonderful strike against Getafe with 10 men. Real Oviedo won against Valencia with 1-0. And in the Serie A, Napoli won 2-1 against Lecce, while Juventus won 1-0 away to Udinese. And in Bundesliga, Dortmund strengthened their title race against Bayern Munich after Bayern Munich drew against Leverkusen. Dortmund won against Augsburg with 2-0. Frankfurt won 1-0 against Heidenheim with 10 men. Hoffenheim 1-1 against Wolfsburg, and Hamburger SV 1-1 against FC Köln. And in French League 1, Lorient 2, Lens 1. Lens defeated in the top flight race against PSG. Angers 0, Nice 2, and Monaco 2, Brest 0. That concludes the Saturday's football review. And until next time, which is tomorrow, see you all and take care.